Hey, this is my review for Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This is a sequel to Captain America: The First Avenger, as well as a follow-up to The Avengers that came out a couple of years ago. Now, my opinion on the pre-Avengers films, I would say I liked Thor, the first Thor, the best, and this second. Now, having said that, the first Captain America, that's the introduction to the first Avenger, and he's the oldest too, because he was around like in the 40s, I believe, and and you see like his journey as being like this kind of skinny little weak dude, but who wants to do great things, and then he all of a sudden, sort of like through an experiment, just becomes all buff and almost like Superman style in a way. He's almost to me kind of like the Marvel Superman, as far as like his personality. He's like a do-gooder, and he's really like stands for justice and rights of America and fights for it. So, but anyway, I'm not gonna get all like patriotic, but um, yeah. So yeah, you're seeing that in his first villain, in the first like big bad guy he had to deal with. There's the Red Skull, who's a Nazi, I believe, or something. I don't know if he was a like. I think he was like a Nazi leader or whatever. I don't know all the details of what he did, but yeah. So it was to that degree, and he was somebody who did not want to mess with. He would kill you like that, and they got the right actor to play him, and I thought the makeup was cool. And but anyway, yeah. So the first Captain America, I thought the production was cool. Like it's just definitely like a 2 hour, yeah, almost 2.5 hour setup to the Avengers, and but yeah, and it was cool to see Tony's dad, and but I didn't think the script was the best, so I thought it was a little cliched. It wasn't terrible. It's not even terribly written. It's just yeah, a little played out in a lot of parts, and add a lot of montages, which I thought made the movie drag a little more than it should. But yeah, but and then I thought the Avengers was awesome. It was cool to see Captain America, in a team, and of course with him, like now his journey and where like the very last film picked off, the first film for him, he's now having to adapt into the modern age, and I'm not gonna, I'm sure some of you guys know what happened in the very first film. I'm sure you guys don't, but I'm not gonna say all the details. And same with the sequel. So yeah, but yeah, he basically just got stuck in within his own age. I think he's was in his 20s or something like that, or early 30s. I don't even know. But he's technically in his 90s now, and he still looks so young. He's sort of Benjamin Button in a way of heroes. And it's basically we're having to just like go on his journey of him getting used to our day today, since he's just so used to the 40s and just how it was. It was like a simpler time. I mean, yeah, bad things were happening, but it was it just wasn't like today is like it's so much darker and it's more complicated. And we get to know, and for the sequel we were like kind of catching up with Black Widow, like just her and her identity, because we've seen her in like 2 or 3 movies now. Yeah, 2 movies. But this third, we get to expand on the character a little more, which I thought was cool, and we get to see Falcon in the sequel, which I thought was awesome as well. But in general, the sequel, I was excited for it. I knew the details of the Winter Soldier for like 2 or 3 years because my friend told me, which I thought was cool, and I just kind of did some research on videos and whatnot, talking about what happens in the comics. So I know the details of the Winter Soldier, and again, some of you guys know, some of you guys don't, so I'm not going to really say much. But I like that in this one they, just talk about Bucky and the Winter Soldier, um, and of course, like there's this whole conspiracy thing going on with Shield and the Hydra and all this and that. It's really, yeah, it was really cool. Like I like that it was a superhero movie, but it was also a mystery. That was the coolest thing about it, I thought. And not only that, but the action. There was a lot more action and destruction than I had ever predicted, and the stunts were awesome. My favorite stunt, I'm not gonna again explain the whole thing, but my favorite stunt is when 3 of the characters are on a car door, in a car chase. That was this. I mean, yeah, that really kind of blew me away the most. That impressed me the most. I just liked it. But yeah, so. But anyways, I'm not going to ramble on and on. It's already like 4 minutes in. But yeah, I thought the first Captain America was alright. Well, good and alright. And the Avengers was awesome. And the sequel, it's dark and mysterious and more edgy, which I liked. So Yeah, Marvel needs to keep it up with these sequels. I liked the Thor sequel, Iron Man sequel, and this one. The Guardians of the Galaxy, I hope, is cool. So, yeah, I would say go see this movie if you like Captain America or if you're into this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe currently.